So we acquired a Dodge Travco 1969 270 M375 and had all sorts of issues with the brakes. Went through the whole braking system and still wound up with the brakes dragging pretty bad. So we decided to attack this booster. And after not being able to find any information, decided there's, you know, it looks like it's pretty easy to take apart, and we did it. And it's actually a lot easier than you think. And we're going to share a little tip with you when we get to it in here. That's, if you do it yourself, it's going to save you a real lot of money. We have people, you know, don't touch it, you know, send it to me, I'll do it for this much, and I think you should replace all this and all that. And, you know, and as we went through it, we found that we didn't need to replace some of the other things. So we're here in the chapel. Jesus is watching behind me.
He's checking in on us.
And Mary's watching him.
You're gonna be watching.
But this is the chapel because this is where we find all the sins inside. But all right, I'll get to it here. First thing you do is take this band off. No, first thing you do is take this line off. So I've already rebuilt this. We've already gone through this once.
Or 14 times.
14 times.
We're not sure.
Right, but we wanted to make sure.
But we know it now.
We do know it. We wanted to have a nice, thorough video, so you know we can show you what's going on, and this will help you decide if you want to tackle it yourself or not. The first thing you want to take off is this line.
We're not mechanics. We don't pretend to be one.
Nope.
But we are definitely hands-on, and
right.
We like to fix things ourselves.
That's right.
So if you want to do this, that's on you.
Right.
We're not telling you exactly how to do it because
right.
You may think that we don't know what we're doing, and we may not.
You could be right.
So we're going to do it anyway, and if you want to comment on it, comment.
Yeah, if you see us doing something wrong and you like this kind of stuff, feel free to share, because that's what we're trying to do now, spread a little bit of knowledge. But here's a tip to get this line off. After taking this apart 15 times, we learned a little something.
We learned the easier way.
So the problem is this line is on top of this ring. So you need to take this ring completely off to separate this. It won't come apart any other way. And this is in the way. And it's a hard line. So here's what we're going to do. And I'm doing this on the fly, so this should be pretty fun. Here's my theory. No, I need a screwdriver.
And what size is that, Bill?
Well, we put a new bolt on, and this one's a 7/16 and a Phillips head. But I think the 7/16 would probably be kind of universal because this is the same size bolt that was in it. So I'm gonna say
I believe it was a 7/16 when we took it off also.
All right. So here's what you want to do. You want to take this and you want to loosen this band up a little bit and give this a little spin if you can. This might not work. This is my first time trying it this way. See? That came out. So you want to take it and you want to spin this part away from here. So you want to go this way and it comes right out. So now, gently, you can pull it straight out. It's just a rubber seat in there. And that line comes out. And that's the hardest part about taking this apart, is getting past this one step. The last video we made, it was a 10-minute ordeal trying to get this apart. And so, as you can see,
pretty quick.
This is under some pressure. All right, so here's the inside. So I took this apart and then we painted it black because the biggest issue with these is it leaks. Brake fluid leaks here from sitting. It's a big issue when they sit. Brake fluid will leak out, and then it'll sit in the bottom, and then it'll rust. And these come just plain steel, so it'll rust, and that'll swell the metal, and that'll make a gap in between the rubber seal and the housing. So the remedy for that is to sand it down nice and to use a paint that won't come off with brake fluid. So that's what I did. So I'm gonna take this ring out and put it over here, and I'm gonna show you this. Here's something that they don't tell you. You can buy these kits for $200, $300, $400 to rebuild this, and they always give you this big diaphragm. They always want you to buy this big diaphragm. And if they rebuild them for you, they charge you for this. So I talked to some old heads, and they said basically these do not go bad unless it sits long enough that brake fluid destroys it. So as you can see, this one still has a seam all the way on the outside. There's no damage to it. I actually cleaned it and I folded it inside out. There's not a wrinkle, there's not a crease, it's not a crack. So this is still fine. If it was sitting with brake fluid, you want to clean it good, but you want to make sure you don't use anything petroleum based because it will eat away at the rubber. That's another tip for you. So I'm going to put this over here too. We're going to move right along. All right, so we can get rid of these guys.
Well, when we took it apart, that piece that you just put away there, that was where it was rusted to the diaphragm.
That's right, this piece right here.
So we actually had to pull it gently and steady, just so it pulls apart off of there without ripping the diaphragm or making any cracks or anything in it.
Right, so the brake rust
and
it like hardens, it sets up, and it was holding the diaphragm completely stuck. So that's what our issue was. As far as taking this apart, that's all we saw. Looking at this.
Right.
All right. Thank you for catching that, brother.
Yeah, we got to throw it in there.
That's right. So inside here, we have a little snap ring, and there's a rubber seal. And when you push this, I'm not going to take the snap ring out, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Take the snap ring out. There's a washer, and then there's a rubber seal. I could hit with a flashlight if that'll help. But there's a rubber seal in there, and it kind of protrudes a little bit, and that's where the shaft from the diaphragm pushes back and forth in here, slides back and forth. So it's basically another master cylinder that's helped with vacuum. All right, so moving on. We're going to start on this end. This end cap nut is 1 3/8. It took a little bit to get it off because this was sitting a while, and like I said, we've already gone through this. We've already rebuilt it 11 times. So this is under spring pressure too. So you get the little show here. It's not a lot, but it's enough to startle you if you don't know what you're in for. So you put the safety squints on.
That's right. Safety squints are always needed.
Good head movement and you're fine. So when you take this off, you're going to have the end cap. And I set them down in the order they come out. And then this little guy on the end, that just goes inside the spring. There's 2 springs, one's inside the other. So I set that down too. You have the copper gasket, and I put that back on the end cap. You can pull this out, and these are your springs. And I would imagine it doesn't matter which way they go in, they're the same on both ends. But we'll set them all in a row. So there's a piston in here. There's a cap that goes on the end of the spring. There's a piston and there's a rubber seal. So it kind of hangs up in the bore a little bit because it is a seal. So you flip it over, and you just have to find something to poke down there and push it out. And it should come out relatively smooth. I heard that last time too.
That makes a noise.
And there you go.
That's everything.
That's everything. So that's basically the whole thing in that cylinder, or it's just those few parts. Ooh, I got hooked. Okay. So we'll show you how this lays out. So on the end of your spring, if you look at this piece that comes out, this goes over the spring, like this. This end, this nipple goes inside the rubber seal, like that. And then this piston attaches to the end here, just hangs out there, but there's a hole in the end of the piston, and there's a hole in the rubber seal. And this is another thing you can check on. This is a little spring-loaded guy. The push rod from the diaphragm goes inside, and it pushes on this. And there's a little spring-loaded, little spring action here. I put this in the parts cleaner, cleaned it up nice, and then everything seemed to be okay. It was pitted. I'm gonna put pictures in when the video's up. But this, from sitting the bottom side from gravity, this was pitted decently, not awful. So I put it in the lathe, and I just used light grit sandpaper. I think I might have used 300, 400, and I kept going until I polished it with I use Wizards, but you can use anything. They're not perfectly polished when they're new. You can see in the replacement kits they're not even that done that nicely. So anyway, that's your piston. The next thing before we go on, we have the bore here, the cylinder bore. You wanna, when you do take this out, you wanna check this bore, because this rides right up against, on the other side of the seal there's another washer. This rides right up against it, and if brake fluid gets past, this seal is behind it, like this. If brake fluid gets past this seal, it just sits, and you know what it does to iron, it does the steel, it rusts it. So you want to check that bore and make sure that it's clean. You want to make sure that it's not rusted, it's not pitted, because if you do free up the brakes, and if, from sitting, and you're pushing the brake, that's pushing that rod in, and it's just grinding this in and out of that, in the rust. So you're going to score that bore if you don't make sure that's polished. What I did for that bore is you can find it on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. We rebuilt the whole braking system basically, and the wheel cylinders, this is a wheel cylinder hone. They're about $20 on Amazon, if that, maybe 16, 17. But this is a 7/8 bore, and this will go down way under. So all you do is pinch it together, and you set it in a bore, and you hook your drill up to it, and you spin it slow. And I put tape on this because they're like little rivets that hold these arms on, that hold the springs in the stone. So I put tape on this because this is spinning in the bore, and I didn't want this to, scratch or score the bore. So you just nice and slow, up and down. You spin it, and this little screw here, this collar adjusts the tension. So the farther you turn this down, the harder it hits the bore. So that's how you clean that up. And then just keep looking at it with a flashlight. You can use your phone, you can use a macro lens, and just make sure that bore's cleaned up nice.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description below.
Yes, sir.
On that one for Amazon.
Yes, sir. So the next thing we're going to tackle is this valve on this side. And if you've never done this before and you thought about it, I was actually surprised at how easy it was to take apart and how self-explanatory it is. Things pretty much fit one way if you take a second and watch how they come apart. It's not that hard. So we have four bolts on top here. This is a one-way check valve. So if your engine stalls, this check valve closes and it holds vacuum in this canister, so you still get one, maybe two more stops. I'm not sure on these old ones, but at least you get one more stop. So this is important. This check valve here, you want to make sure that it seals up nice. So when you take this off, basically just this in a seal. There's nothing in here to fall out. Right, so we take that guy and we put him aside. So this is the check valve. So we're going to take this next piece off. Same exact socket. It's 7/16. So this is also spring loaded. So you want to hold on to this. And then let up a little pressure and you'll see this is also not very complicated. You have another spring. The spring only goes in one way. There's a wide side here, and it fits right in that little slot. And to see the diameter of this, the spring goes around it. You can put it in backwards, but it doesn't stay. So it's easy to tell which way it goes. And so we can put that guy like this. So this is oh, actually, I forgot to show you this. This is the one-way check valve. So it's a Phillips head on the inside on this one, and the back side is a 5/16. So there's a little wrench, but you can use a socket. And this is important to check. The same thing with this spring. There's a little collar here. The spring rides around the collar. And then when you put it in, the spring sits on the inside. So it's another one that's very self-explanatory. So when you look at this one-way check valve, this is the outside. This is the outside. This rides on top, and there's a rubber seal here. So this has to seal very well to hold the vacuum in the canister. So I took this. You can put it in drill if you want. You can, if you have a little lathe, you can put it in a lathe and polish it. But I took the time to polish it and make it. There were a couple little marks on it, but it's just, you know, we do this on the side, so we like to take our time and make sure things are.
Looks all shiny and new.
Yeah. And that, like I said, that seat's on that rubber seal here. It pretty much, when we took this apart, everything, the seals all look pretty good. We just had that problem, like Tom said, that the diaphragm stuck in the on the backside here, and it wasn't allowing it to have any boost, which somehow stuck the brakes on. But this side, with the Phillips head screw, all this does is hold the spring, so there's really no need to. You don't have to do anything to this except clean it. So that's easy. There's nothing on the underside here, so you put that aside. The last piece, last piece is right here. So there's two seals on this shaft. It's another rubber diaphragm. This one is still in good shape. It's real soft. There's no cracks. And there's two seals, and they open up facing down to push pressure down. So if you do have to swap them out, you could use a little dentist pick, and you just get underneath it. They're pretty pliable. You just pull them up, and you can slide them right off that shaft. These guys are pretty easy. But in this case, like I said, that I got up close, really inspected them, and you would see score marks on the ends, and these ones you can see are very shiny. So I would imagine this wasn't driven much and put away a lot and sat a lot. So this is looking like it might have been rebuilt somewhat recently, but there was a little bit of just they look like dried brake fluid. It's like a little orangey, crusty guys. So I did the same thing. Put this in the little lathe, and I got polishing compound, and I put it on my finger, and I just held it on as it spun until it felt smooth. And again, the seals are, the shaft isn't the exact diameter of this bore. It's not like you're putting an engine together. It's fluid, so there's room for it to move around. They don't have to be exactly perfect. You don't have to worry about, when you're boring the cylinder here, it's not a big deal to take a little material off, because the seal makes up for it. It's the same with this shaft. So we can there's a rubber seal on this side. You have 1, 2, 3 seals on this, and a rubber diaphragm. There's really that's pretty much it for the whole unit. There's really nothing else in there. There's nothing else to take apart or look at. So taking some of the mystery out of it. We have people telling you to send it, don't touch it, send it to me, and here's what you need to replace. You just do what I tell you to do, and we don't really follow that way. If it's got nuts and bolts to take it apart, we're gonna do it.
Absolutely.
And newer ones have crimped ends, and there's all sorts of plastic fittings. That's not the case with this. These were meant to be rebuilt.
And just remember, it's aluminum, cast iron, steel, and brass.
Right.
All together. So you're going to have problems with brake lines being stuck. You're going to have to just be careful as you're taking it off that you don't strip your brake lines, or you're going to have a nightmare. We know, because somebody did get into this and attacked the bleeder valve and rounded it off pretty good.
And the bleeder valve is on top, and you can't, when you get under the Travco, you can't see the bleeder valve. So
yes,
we went in with 75 different sockets, and nothing fit.
Yeah.
So we used an easy out.
Exactly.
Well, you used an easy out. But that's pretty much it for disassembly, right? Everything.
Yeah, that's really about it.
All right, so we'll show you how it goes back together. We'll do it the same way.
And we'll give you the outflow on it because we took it off without even thinking about a video. So when we're putting it back together, we'll take you every step of the way, show you how to put it back together, how we took it apart, what to watch out for, what's going to be a pain,
right?
What's going to be difficult, what's going to be easy. But we're not mechanics. We just figured we'll give it a shot. So if you want to give it a shot, go ahead. We're not telling you how to do it. We're not telling you to do it. That's on you. But
Use
if you
your discretion.
Yep. You think you could do it, then give it a shot. I mean,
right.
What's the worst that can happen? You're either going to pay somebody to do it, or you're going to screw it up and have to pay somebody to do it. So
right.
why not give it a shot?
Right.
Try to save yourself some money, and if nothing else, you're going to learn.
Exactly, and you're going to learn. That's the best part. If you do it in your driveway, you put it back together, and it works. It works. It doesn't take long to take this out. It's not really that difficult. There's 3 bolts.
No.
There's 1 in the back and 2 on the bottom.
And our thing is, when we were kids, you get a car, had an owner's manual in it, told you how to adjust the points, told you how to do the timing on it. Now owner's manuals tell you not to drink the antifreeze. So, you got to think about that.
Right. If you drink antifreeze, this isn't the thing for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to share another little tip here. These seals, all of them, when you're dealing with like brakes, hydraulics, the seals are flared out, and this is going to go into that bore forward. So take your time. It's not rocket surgery, but take your time, push it in, maybe give it a little spin, because they're flared out. So you're pushing that into a hole, and the seal has to do this. But it's not a big deal. You just take your time and you give it a little jiggle, and she goes right in. There's another little tip. Like I said, we said before, there's not a lot to these. Very simple mechanism. We've been going for 75 years like this.
And what type of lube you using there, Bill?
So this is, that's a good point. Good point. This is O-ring lube. Different from, never mind. But this is silicone. You want a silicone-based lube for the O-rings, because anything that's petroleum-based is gonna, it's gonna play hell on the rubber. Any rubber O-rings, any gaskets, they're not gonna get along. So you want to use. Permatex makes this. There's a couple of different ones. They sell it on Amazon. This was $10. So I think we're into this for. Well, we bought some stuff we didn't need, but I don't even think we're into it for $40. So
No, not really.
Right?
Yeah, about that.
I think we're in it for $40.
Yep.
So when you're putting this back together,
And it's trial and error, because everybody wants to know the year, make, and model. They put it in their computer, and the computer goes into stealth mode and doesn't have a clue as to what it's doing. So,
right?
yeah, you're not going to find stuff like that.
It's not how any of this works.
No, it's trial and error.
Right.
But that's why we'll put a list of stuff we used. This way, you'll have some sort of clue as to what to even start looking for.
Right. Yeah, we'll help you out. And wheel cylinder rebuild kits. That's another thing. Most of the time, it's just it's a seal in there. It's a 1 3/8, right?
1 3/8, yeah.
Yeah. So they're almost impossible to find if you don't know what to tell the person behind the counter. We had good luck at Napa. We'll share that with you later. So put it back together. First thing you're going to do is put the one-way check valve back in. So you just take your little guy on top, hold them here, and it's the same thing we said before. It only looks right one way. The fat part of the spring goes inside first. You set this on top. You take your Phillips head, give it a little spin to get her started.
Yeah, don't use nature's Loctite and cross-thread it. Definitely not going to be fun for you.
We have 7 gallons of that in the garage. Let's give it a little zip. This doesn't have to be killer tight. And that's it for that. You can see how that moves. One-way check valve. So then you're going to put the next spring in. This sits like that. Now this is under pressure, like I said before. And there's a little trick to this too. This diaphragm rides in a groove here, so you want to make sure that you get it centered, so it's not off to one side. You get a leak. Then again, it's not really that hard to do. You just center your spring here. You push it down and get your bolts ready. Get 2 bolts ready. And when you set it down, you give it a little wiggle. And you want to push on it until you see that it's set in there. There's no gap. If you look close, there's no gap here. So it's set down all the way around. It's flush. So that's how you know you did that right. So we ran these bolts in a couple times. So we've done this a few times already, just to try to make a nice clear video for you guys. This is going to be a little easier to turn than maybe yours are. If you want to hit it with a tap and clear out the threads, it's up to you.
If we're getting you seasick with the video, well, just like we're not real mechanics, we don't really know about the video. Actually, we started out saying we're going to start taping this.
I didn't want to interrupt you, brother.
No, that's good.
I had it in a good spot and I went for it.
Yeah. There probably is torque specs for all this, but we couldn't tell you what they are.
No.
Because we couldn't find them.
No, we couldn't find really anything.
So we're going by Ugga Dugga deals.
We were going by miniature Ugga Duggas.
That's all.
And here's
Really little ones, though, not big ones. Don't go putting on a lug nut. You're just putting on a little, just a little bolt. That's otherwise, right. You know.
And the other thing, I keep cutting them off. I get excited, but the other thing is that even if the torque specs are out there, the people that have them don't want to share them because they got a little monopoly on building these, which is fine. And I could tell you, so Tom took the band off. He knows about that a little bit more. I can tell you these were not tight at all. They were not. There was nothing crazy. Nothing torqued down crazy on any of it. It was all pretty much, snug down, and then an eighth of a turn, nothing crazy. Yeah,
the only reason why the band was tight is, and we could tell you right off the bat, just when you get to the band, when you're taking it off for the first time, chances are you're going to break the bolt. Don't worry about it. You can get a bolt to fit in it.
Yeah.
It's going to be rusted up. I mean, it's underneath the thing, and it deals with all kinds of weather, so right. Unless you're in a good part of the country where we should be living, but we're not.
But we are not.
We live where there's snow everywhere and
Rust Belt.
Salt is everywhere, so.
I'll check these again before we put it back on. So that's it for... I put that on backwards. So here's another tip. When you get this... See, I got listening to you.
Yeah. Yeah, just do yourself a favor like we do a lot when we're deciding to tackle stuff on our own. Take pictures. Take lots of pictures. Take pictures of it before you take it apart. Take pictures of it as you're taking it apart. That way you know where you're at and which way you got to go with it.
Right. He is correct.
Because they will go together in any direction.
They will.
Just so you know.
So here's a good way to look at it. The line that comes from the... I don't know why I took that off. But the feed line goes in here, and then this is the output line. So your valve faces the opposite direction. Okay, so the vacuum line that we took off from the backside, or the EQ line. I'm not sure what you call it, but that goes in here, and this guy, this is the atmosphere side. This faces the same way, so you'll have your input and output lines here, and then these two face the same way. So nothing too crazy.
And you'll see when we put it back in the Travco that line is going to be facing the driver's side, the outside of the camper, because it goes right into a compartment.
Right.
And that's where it exhausts at. So if you get up there and it's facing away from the frame, you're going to have an issue.
Right. Nobody likes having issues.
No, issues are not fun.
Issues are no fun. All right, take two. All right, so that's that. That's pretty much how she goes back together like that. The next thing to do is put the piston back in with the seal, the spring, return spring, and the end cap.
I keep making music on Bill's guitars he's got all over the chapel.
The chapel. So this guy just slides in here. You can kind of set it sideways so it doesn't slam home there.
Back up, Bill. I missed which direction.
Okay, so yeah. This there's
cup side.
There's a flat side with a hole in it, and then there's another side with a little snap ring in there, and there's this little guy is spring loaded. That goes towards the bell. Okay. Pretty simple.
Good deal.
And I want to clean this out a little bit, this guy. I'm just noticing a little bit of compound that it just sitting around in there. You don't want it to polish itself for the next 50,000 miles. Alright, so yeah, that's how that goes in. Here's a little tip. If you just drop it down the tube, it kind of bangs a little bit, and so give it a little sideways here. And let it slide home. And there you go. Make sure you lube up every piece of rubber in there. You don't have to do the diaphragms, but any rubber that's moving against a piece of metal, you want to give a little love.
Yep, friction's not a good thing in there.
Right.
That's what the brake pads are for.
That's what the brake pads are for. So this guy's a little tricky getting him out, nothing crazy. So this is going to go in this way, and when you put the spring in, and this little end guy here, that goes into the back of the seal. So you give it a little drop, move it around. That's what it should look like. You can drop your little cup in, grab the spring, and just give it a little push. If it binds up, take it back out, start over. Don't be afraid to start over.
Yeah, we started over several times.
Several times.
We're good at it.
And then your end cap goes back on, and I think I mentioned it before. I use a good to take this off. Probably use one to put it back on, or we get leverage on it with a decent ratchet. But again, that's 1 3/8, and that's that. That's that side. So next thing is this little rubber seal in here. I think I might have mentioned it before, but these little snap ring pliers. There's a washer, a rubber seal, another washer, and the snap ring. This washer kind of gets compressed. I'm sorry, not the washer, the gasket. The rubber seal gets compressed a little bit, and it squeezes the input shaft, I guess you call it, from the diaphragm. So you want to make sure that that's kind of grabbing a little bit, and then a little bit of lube in there. And you can start putting it all back together.
I always use the lube where you're going to have penetration.
Giggity, giggity.
It's just one of those things.
Yep. And it can't hurt anything. You use a little bit too much. Too much oil never ruin a machine. Cheers. So this is the only tricky part. On a scale of 1 to 10, this whole thing is about a 3, except for this part. But now that we've done it 11 times, we might make this look easy, or I might look like an idiot. So you want to grab your diaphragm, and I'm going to put a little bit of lube on the shaft here. Phew, it's the adult section of YouTube.
You want to grab the back half of the bell housing before you go pushing it in there, because she's going to spring right out at you.
You start running. All right. Oh, yeah, you want to check this gasket, make sure there's no oil on or anything, because it'll eat away at it. This one I've cleaned a couple times. Really went through this. So you just grab your little diaphragm here. You put your spring. It's pretty self-explanatory. They just fit straight in here, and then you can work your way in, and you want to go easy there so you don't tear that little rubber gasket.
Just like everything else, boys. Take it nice and easy at first.
Right.
Then you could run it home.
Then you run it home.
But not until.
That's right. So I'm going to spin this, because we need to get this this little 90 right there on top. Has to be on this side for that well, the other 90 to go in, if that makes any sense. And I want to pinch myself. Yeah. Probably couldn't put it together. Here's a little hindsight. Probably could have put it together with the diaphragm inside the backing plate. But this is the part you need to put this on first.
Tricky.
Yeah. This has to go on first, and then the metal hose. I think I might be able to get it. This is the hardest part of the whole operation.
Yeah, this definitely usually takes 4 hands. If Bill pulls it off with just two, I'm going to be impressed. I'll sit here and watch him struggle for a little bit.
This is why we're family.
Because he's doing a hell of a job at it. I'm giving him an attaboy on this one.
Right. So
Nice.
once you get it over, it kind of holds itself in
Yeah,
place. And then
It'll hold itself.
you want to slide this over because the floor is up here. I'm not sure how much clearance, so I didn't want to. This would be the highest spot if I had the bolt on top, so I'm just sliding this over a little bit just to save us the trouble of having to take it back out and move something. Because I remember when I looked up at it, this sits this way. Don't you dare. So I want to slide this all the way over to the side. And grind off all my nice paint.
Yeah.
So then I want to get this bolt in here.
Yeah, put the bolt in just to hold it in place, but we don't tighten it up first.
Right.
That's what we found out the trick about the tube is.
That's right. So you want to spin it down a little bit so you want to be able to move this. You want to be able to move this, the back from the front. You want to be able to separate them a little bit and spin this. And I'll show you why in a second here. You want to take this guy and a little bit more lube on the end here because there's a rubber seal in here that this rides on. So we get a little bit on here. So you're gonna put this in here, going all the way, and then that's sitting high. You just take this and spin it. Take this and spin it.
Take two.
And until you get it lined up. It's a little bit of trial and error.
Yep, that's it.
There we
just
go.
Go gentle. That's all. You'll be fine.
There we go. It's going to look like it doesn't fit, I'll tell you that. We can tell you that right out the gates, because the last time we did it, it looked like it was off by an inch. But you might have to give it a little love taps. Get her lined. There it is. Get her lined up.
So you'll hear it set itself in place.
That's right. It'll click.
It'll give you a little clicking.
So that's that guy. So you tighten that up. And then you go back, flip her over. Make sure that this ring is on all the way around. You'll see it's pretty easy to tell if it's not. And then we grab what's a 7/16 or a 11 millimeter if you're communist.
You just made all of Canada mad.
And then you just get a little baby oogas. Now it's all back together. We'll go over it once before we put it back in and make sure everything's tight. A little bung in the back here. You put a little bit of a little Teflon tape, a little pipe dope on it, and make sure that seals up nice. And you can check this with the vacuum gauge if you want. We might, if we have the provisions, we might show that in another video. But that's pretty much all there is to these. Not as hard as you think.
No. Don't be scared just because it breaks.
Right.
It's only going to stop you.
Right.
Not a big deal. But if you don't feel like doing it, don't do it.
That's right.
Just have somebody else do it. We'll put a list of people that actually do it. You're going to pay for it. Just understand, you know.
Right.
But it looks more scary than it is. It really does.
Correct.
Simple, stupid. There's really not much to go wrong with it.
Right. Yep. You check for vacuum leaks. That's all.
Yeah.
Make sure it holds vacuum. We might come back with a video. I have a little setup here. We might be able to test it out. But I'm fairly confident that we fixed the problem, and I think we're good.
Like I said, we'll have a video up, posted up when we put it in. Take her for the maiden voyage. If you hear us screaming like little girls going on the highway, well, you'll know we didn't do it right. But chances are, I have faith in us. I think we'll do it all right.
I think we did fine. Yeah.
Well, I think that's about all we could do there, Bill.
Salute from Hard Headed Garage
That's right.
in the chapel.
We're in the chapel, making
Good
sure
day.
we cover up all these little sins.
That's right. You're
So,
forgiven.
hey, don't forget, give it a shot. Give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, and yeah, you can do it yourself. Anybody can do it. It's
right.
not a big deal.
That's right.
So till next time, take care.